things that will hurt you, but will set you free. The truth will set you free, but first, it will shatter you. Unknown. 1. Most people don't truly care about you. And that's not a curse, it's a clue. Let's get brutally honest. You can spend years trying to win people over. Be nice enough, helpful enough, smart enough, successful enough. Maybe if you show them how kind you are, they'll stay. Maybe if you achieve something great, they'll finally see your worth. But here's the truth that'll feel like a punch to the chest. Most people don't care about you. Not in the way you think, not in the way you wish they would. It's not that they're evil. It's not that they're malicious. It's just that most people are caught in the storm of their own lives. They're not thinking about you. They're thinking about their bills, their insecurities, their heartbreaks, their image, their survival. And the longer you expect people to care about your life the way you do, will suffer. Because here's the lie you've believed, that your worth is tied to how many people clap for you, that your value increases when others validate it. It's not true. When someone forgets your birthday, you feel unseen. When they don't check in when you're struggling, you feel unloved. When they stop supporting you, you start to question if you matter at all. When so many people develop those head, a featured drinks often tier anyways, speaking around. Spired tier speaking speak. Speaking right, such a storing. Speaking you inside in a view, if those will vans. Speaking you eyes. Using every ways inside, speaking you. Silence concerned. Share you the thoughts or mind, however, or honest, as a side into the super headman's possible, as an alteration of their reboof of founders. I know that we will new in many odious, like itself. It is lie and of long tear speak, being no good.
You rebuild, you rise. You walk forward not with bitterness, but with clarity. The right ones don't leave when it gets hard. The real ones don't disappear without a word. And those who are meant for your life will never have to be convinced to stay. One day someone will stay. Someone who doesn't flinch at your intensity. Someone who doesn't disappear at the first sign of difficulty. Someone who wants to build, not borrow. But until then, you honor your own presence. You become your own safe place. You stop romanticizing those who left and start respecting the version of you who survived their leaving. Not everyone you love will stay, but that doesn't mean you're alone. It means you're evolving, and that's something to be proud of. We've been taught that forgiveness means reconciliation, that if you truly let go of the pain, you must also let the person back in, but that's not the truth. That's emotional manipulation dressed as virtue. Forgiveness is an internal release. It is the decision to no longer carry the weight of what they did. But it does not mean forgetting. It does not mean restoring what was broken. And it certainly does not mean pretending like it never happened. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Marcus Aurelius. Forgiveness is about freeing yourself from becoming bitter, not freeing them from accountability. It's about choosing peace over resentment. But peace doesn't mean proximity. You can forgive someone and still never speak to them again. You can forgive someone and still enforce the boundary they crossed. You can forgive someone and still know deep in your bones that they are not safe for your spirit, your growth, or your peace. Philosophically, the Stoics believed in mastering your inner world regardless of what happened outside of you. Forgiveness, then,
is less about excusing the offender and more about refusing to let their actions dictate your emotional weather. You forgive to reclaim power, not to rebuild something that no longer honors your becoming. Some people apologize only to regain access. They don't want to make things right. They want to feel better about what they did, or worse, they want to reset the cycle. This is why discernment is key. If someone shows you through action that they haven't changed, then forgiveness without boundaries becomes self-betrayal. Real healing means you can remember what happened and feel no rage, only wisdom. It means you can think of them without tension in your chest, without plotting what you'd say if you ever saw them again. It means their name no longer holds power over your peace. But here's where many get confused. They believe they haven't truly forgiven unless the relationship is restored.
It doesn't make you bitter. It makes you honest. It doesn't make you heartless. It makes you whole. Let them go without burning the bridge. But don't stay on that bridge waiting for someone who's already walked back into a world you've outgrown. And if someone outgrows you, wish them well. Release them gracefully. Their journey no longer includes your chapter, and that's okay. Every soul isn't meant to walk the full distance with you. Some are there to start the journey. Some are there to teach the lessons. Some are only there to help you find your feet, and once you do, their part in your story is complete. You're not wrong for growing. You're just finally becoming. Closure doesn't always come. Sometimes you have to give it to yourself. We grow up thinking that pain has clean endings, that people will eventually apologize, that conversations will come full circle, that those who hurt us will sit down, look us in the eye, and say all the things we needed to hear. But life rarely works that way. Some people vanish without explanation. Some betray you and walk away like nothing happened. Some just drift, ghost, or stay silent, leaving you tangled in your own unanswered questions. The truth is, closure isn't something you're always given. It's something you must choose to create, within the quiet spaces of your own healing. You can spend months, even years, replaying the last words they said, the last message they sent, the moment everything started to feel off. You'll analyze every detail, trying to make sense of the chaos. You'll search for the moment it all went wrong. But the more you search, the more you'll find fragments, never peace. Sometimes they don't explain because they can't face the truth. Sometimes they don't return because they don't have the courage to own the damage they did. And sometimes they simply don't care enough to. That's not fair. It's not just. But it is real. And part of your healing will require you to stop waiting for them to make it right. He who blames others has a long way to go on his journey. He who blames himself is halfway there. He who blames no one has arrived. Chinese proverb. There comes a moment when you must stop seeking answers from the ones who broke you and start asking better questions of yourself. Why do I need their apology to move forward? Why does their silence still control my emotions? Why am I holding my peace hostage, waiting for someone else to set me free? Closure is not a final conversation. It's a decision. A quiet reclaiming of your own narrative. It's saying, they may never explain, but I will no longer explain my worth to their absence. It's closing the book, even if the last page is missing. It's walking away without the need to slam the door. You don't need their permission to heal. You don't need their apology to forgive. You don't need their clarity to move forward. The healing doesn't happen when they come back and make things right. It happens when you stop needing them to. Walking away rarely feels like victory. There are no fireworks when you let go, no confetti falling from the sky, no one standing at the sidelines applauding your strength or handing you a trophy for choosing yourself. Most of the time, it's quiet, heavy, lonely. It's not the cinematic kind of moment we imagine when we think of bravery. There's no music to swell in the background as you close the door for the last time. No spotlight shining on your tears as they fall in silence. Instead, there's just this deep, hollow ache in your chest, the kind that doesn't have words, only weight, the kind that lingers long after the moment has passed. Sometimes it doesn't even feel like strength. It feels like giving up, like you've failed, like you've abandoned something you were supposed to hold on to, like you've let yourself down, or worse, let someone else down. You replay everything in your mind, every reason you stayed as long as you did, the promises you made, the late-night prayers, the conversations where you swore things would change, and the fragile hope you clung to like a lifeline. You remember how hard you tried to make it work, how you twisted and reshaped yourself to fit a version of life that no longer fit who you were becoming. And then, when the breaking point comes, not always loud, not always dramatic, but clear and undeniable, you walk. And in that moment, it doesn't feel like liberation. It feels like loss. You grieve not only the relationship or the situation, but the future you had imagined, the someday that will now never arrive, the version of you that was invested in that dream. It's like burying a part of your identity. But here's the truth we rarely tell ourselves. Sometimes walking away is the bravest thing you can do, not because you stopped caring, but because you finally realized that caring for yourself has to come first. Not because you're weak, but because you found the strength to stop settling for less than you deserve. You don't walk away because it didn't matter. You walk away because it mattered too much, and it was costing you parts of yourself you could no longer afford to lose. You walk not because you're bitter or cold, but because staying would mean slowly, silently disappearing beneath someone else's version of what your life should be. You walk because somewhere deep down, even through the tears and trembling, you remember. You are allowed to outgrow people. You are allowed to evolve beyond a story that once fit, but now confines. And though it might feel like failure at first, one day you'll look back and see it differently. You'll see that this moment, the painful, quiet, lonely decision to leave, was actually the beginning of choosing you, the beginning of honoring your truth, even when it shook your entire world, the beginning of a return. You're allowed to walk away, even from things that once felt holy. You're allowed to leave, even when you don't have all the answers yet. You're allowed to choose yourself, not because you're selfish, but because you finally understand. Not every ending is a failure. Some endings are the first step toward coming home to yourself. Sometimes the most courageous act is not endurance, it's release. It's saying, I loved this. I gave my all, I hoped, I tried, but now I choose peace over chaos, self-respect over approval, truth over illusion. And even though the ground beneath your feet may tremble, you walk, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts, said Marcus Aurelius. So choose thoughts of courage even in the storm of uncertainty. Choose the road that leads back to yourself, even if it's the loneliest stretch at first. Walking away doesn't mean you failed. It means you finally remembered your worth.